Fast, focused, and fearless. Here's everything you need to know as you jumpstart your day. I'm Diego Castro. The Saudi Foreign Ministry announces that Filipinos were among the first evacuees from war-hit Sudan who arrived in Jeddah on Saturday. In a statement, the Foreign Ministry said over 150 people, including foreign diplomats and officials, were rescued from Sudan and brought to Jeddah in the first evacuation of civilians since fighting began. Among those evacuated were 91 Saudi citizens and around 66 nationals, including diplomats from 12 other countries: the Philippines, Canada, UAE, India, and Kuwait, among others. The Philippine government says it is also preparing to evacuate more Filipinos. President Marcos said the government is taking steps for the safe evacuation of Filipinos out of the Sudanese capital of Khartoum, where most of the clashes are taking place. Marcos said the government is already preparing assets that may be involved in the evacuation efforts.
We are just waiting to get better information as to whether or not it will be safe to bring our evacuees out of Khartoum, perhaps into Cairo.
Meanwhile, the Philippine Embassy in Egypt advises Filipinos that the airports in Sudan remain closed since April 15 and that there is no safe option for air evacuation at this time. The embassy advises Filipinos in Sudan that there are announcements on ceasefires being agreed to, but there are still gunshots and bombings in certain areas. Filipinos in Sudan are advised to remain in their homes and away from windows and rooftops. The embassy assures them that the consulate is currently working on ways to secure food and water and other supplies for delivery or pickup. The embassy is calling on Filipinos in Sudan to send clear copies of their passports and residence visa via email. Contact information are flashed on your screens. The Philippines and China agreed to open more lines of communication as they pledged to work together to resolve maritime differences in the South China Sea. Camille Samonte with the report.
Chinese Foreign Minister Qin Gang visited Manila for high-level talks with Philippine officials. He met with Foreign Affairs Secretary Enrique Manalo on Saturday. In his opening remarks, Manalo insisted that the relationship between the two countries remains separate from issues on territorial dispute in the West Philippine Sea. He also said that this will not hinder their goal to resolve the issue for the sake of Filipino fisherfolk affected by incidents in the area. Investment pledges from President Bongbong Marcos' visit to Beijing were also tackled. There's also developments in the tourism front as flights from Beijing to Manila resume. China also emphasized the importance of cooperation between China and the Philippines in resolving disputes through dialogue and consultation. Beijing also pledged to continue cooperating with the Philippines in implementing agreements reached between President Bongbong Marcos and Chinese President Xi Jinping.
China is ready to work with the Philippines to truly implement the consensus between the presidents of our two countries, keep to the direction of friendship between our two countries, jointly uphold the larger picture of our bilateral relations.
After his meeting with Manalo, Qin proceeded to Malacanang for his courtesy visit to President Bongbong Marcos. During their talk, the Philippines and China agreed to open more lines of communication to prevent more tension in the West Philippine Sea. President Bongbong Marcos said the meeting proved fruitful as the two countries continue to make future plans in the economic, cultural, and educational sectors. For News 5, Camille Samonte, We Are One News.
One expert believes that Chinese Foreign Minister Qin Gang is testing the waters during his visit to the Philippines. Foreign Affairs analyst Professor Richard Heydarian told 1PH that China could be feeling the shift in foreign policy from former President Rodrigo Duterte, who favored China over the US, to Marcos Jr., who offers a more flexible stance.
Sa palagay ko, yung China po ay nag-expect na magkakaroon tayo ng Duterte 2.0 foreign policy under Marcos Jr. So I think nabibigla talaga ang China dyan. So nagdadalawang isip sila how to win back the Philippines.
Heydarian added that Qin's visit could also be some form of damage control, following the remarks of Chinese envoy Huang Xilian. Huang earlier called on the Philippines to reject Taiwan's independence if it really cares about the Filipinos there.
I think for a lot of Filipinos, they were not very happy about what was said, and I think a lot of Filipinos felt na parang, ano yun, tinitreaten yung mga OFWs dyan sa Taiwan dahil sa balak ng China na sakupin ng Taiwan just in case. I think the new Chinese foreign minister is trying to bring in his own skills and do a little bit of damage control there.
We'll be back with more stories after the break. Keep it here on The One News. You're still watching One News Now. I'm Diego Castro. The Transportation Department says face masks will remain mandatory on trains amid rising COVID-19 cases. The OTR Assistant Secretary Georgette Aquino said face masks are still required inside LRT and MRT trains. The mandate, however, becomes optional at PNR stations that are considered open-air spaces. Aquino called on the public to remain vigilant and to get vaccinated and boosted against the virus. The change of command ceremony and retirement honors for PNP Chief Rodolfo Azurin Jr. are set to happen today. 56-year-old Azurin retires today after 9 months on the job, but no successor has been announced yet. Among the candidates are Deputy Chief for Administration Rodel Sermonia and Deputy Chief for Operations Jonel Estomo. Others reportedly in the running include Benjamin Acorda, who serves as the Chief of the Directorate for Intelligence. Azurin said his stint as PNP Chief was like a roller coaster and asked Malacanang to carefully choose his successor. Malacanang hosted its first concierto sa Palacio over the weekend with a theme dedicated for the armed forces. Around 400 members and families of the military joined the KSP Awit ng Magiting. Also present in the concert were President Bongbong Marcos and First Lady Lisa Araneta Marcos, as well as Vice President Sara Duterte and other cabinet members. The concert featured local artists from various areas across the country, like Ilocos, Iloilo, and Cebu. The palace eyes to hold a concert series every 3 months to showcase Filipino talent in the performing arts. And that's it for this hour. Join us again at 7:45 a.m. as we continue to monitor the day's biggest stories I'm Diego Castro. We are One News. All sides, all the time.